The movie begins with a man in a suit checks into a quiet hotel called Renata. He wants peace and to get away from the world. The hotel manager shows him to his room. The man has some obsessive habits and starts to arrange his things very neatly. After resting, he explores the empty hotel, checking out the swimming pool and the snooker room before returning to his room. He looks curious and confused as he wanders around. At night, he turns off the lights to sleep but can't. He turns on the TV, which only has Animal Planet. He leaves his room and goes to the hotel bar, where a young bartender offers him a drink. He sees a sign that says no drinks after 9 p.m., so he politely says no. The next morning, he goes to the dining hall for breakfast and sits next to an old lady. He has a red book but keeps looking around instead of reading. The old lady tries to talk to him, but he seems lost in thought. After breakfast, he sees a woman named Jenny doing yoga. He watches her but walks away when she sees him. He then encounters the hotel manager who is putting up rules. The manager's paralyzed wife in a wheelchair stares at him, making him uncomfortable. Later, the man swims in the pool. After swimming, he lies on a chair with his red book. Jenny dives into the pool, and he is drawn to her beauty. She sits next to him and flirts, but just as he is about to respond, her boyfriend arrives and takes her away. That evening, he goes to the bar again. The bartender offers him cigarettes, but the man sees the no smoking sign. The bartender says the rules are silly, and the man decides to smoke. It's his first time, and he coughs. The bartender shows him how to smoke properly. Later that night, he tries to sleep but is disturbed by the moaning of the yoga lady in the next room. He gets turned on and ends up touching himself. The next day, as he goes to breakfast, he sees the bartender looking into the room of the same old lady. This makes him angry, and he scolds the bartender. After a while, he peeks into the room himself and sees something shocking. The old lady is trying to help her husband, who is hurting himself. Following breakfast, the stranger proceeds to the snooker room, where he meets another lodger who claims to be a businessman. As their conversation unfolds, the stranger asks whether the businessman has noticed anything out of the ordinary about the Renata Hotel, to which the latter answers negatively. Witnessing the stranger's confused demeanor and distress, the businessman offers him a pill, assuring him that it will make him a completely different person when he wakes up the following day. The businessman is also willing to provide as many pills as he wants, but this assistance comes with a condition. The stranger must help him locate a misplaced key. Later, on his way back to his room, the stranger unexpectedly bumps into the maid. As they gather their belongings from the floor, the stranger tries to strike up a conversation with her, but before he can, she asks why he is at Renata. The stranger has no answer, so the maid walks away. That evening, all the guests gather in the dining hall, where the hotel manager announces some arrangements for their entertainment while they enjoy dinner. For the first act, the paralyzed woman is brought onto the stage, along with her son, who is none other than the bartender. The bartender uses his mother's paralyzed body in a puppet-like manner to deliver a series of awful jokes. Here, we notice the strange situation where the guests only react after the stranger looks at them, as if his gaze triggers their responses. Upon the conclusion of the first act, the stage welcomes the hotel manager's daughter, the same maid from earlier. She sings a beautiful song that captivates the entire audience. As the song draws to an end, an unexpected surge of emotion overcomes the maid, causing tears to stream down her cheeks. The evening ends with dinner, and the stranger consumes the offered pill. The next morning, he wakes up looking more active than before. He freshens up and carries out his daily morning routine. Driven by a desire for more of the transformative pills, the stranger resolves to assist the businessman in locating his misplaced key. Before long, he comes across the paralyzed lady in the hallway and notices her neck adorned with a locket. Believing that it might be the key he is looking for, the stranger puts his hand inside her clothes, only to uncover a ring instead. After this, he picks her up and checks her back pocket. There he finally finds the key and retrieves it. Afterwards, the stranger heads to the businessman's room to return the key and secure the promised pills. The latter appears to be playing a card game with the hotel manager. They ask the stranger to join them in the game, to which he agrees. In the middle of the gameplay, the hotel manager departs on errands, leaving the stranger and the businessman to continue. Seizing the opportunity, the stranger hands over the key, and in return he receives a vial containing a limited number of pills. The businessman then challenges the stranger to one more card game, promising an additional bottle full of pills if he wins. Our weird hero agrees right away, and to everyone's surprise, he ends up victorious, thus earning both bottles of pills. Later in the day, a stranger is swimming in the pool when he is approached by the bartender. Their conversation steers toward the previous night's performance, during which the bartender reveals that the hotel manager forces them to perform those acts. He goes on to say that the manager controls them, manipulating them through the fear of the unknown. While talking, the bartender gradually draws nearer, appearing as if he is about to kiss the stranger. Their moment, however, is interrupted by the arrival of the maid, who enters with towels for them. In the evening, as the stranger is taking a relaxing shower, there is a sudden knock on his door. Upon answering, he's greeted by the bartender, who extends an invitation for a family dinner. The stranger is initially hesitant, but he eventually agrees. Afterwards, he joins the hotel manager's family for the dinner event. There, he notices that the maid isn't allowed to join them despite being a part of the family. Curious, the stranger inquires about the reason, to which the hotel manager asserts that there must be someone to serve. During dinner, the stranger feels uncomfortable because of long, awkward pauses. Soon, the hotel manager and his son start arguing about the hotel rules. Unable to take it anymore, the stranger gets up and leaves the table. At midnight, he hears a maid crying. He tries to help her, but she runs away, saying no one helps her. He then finds a control room with CCTV monitors, which shows that all the hotel rooms are being watched by hidden cameras. Worried, the stranger rushes back to his room to search for any hidden cameras. Suddenly, the TV turns on, showing footage of the maid giving pills to a businessman, helping the elderly lady bathe, and being intimate with Ginny's boyfriend. The stranger realizes something is wrong at the hotel. He leaves his room and sneaks into an unused area of the hotel. The bartender sees him and gives him a key to enter the same area. Inside, the stranger finds lab equipment, syringes, and notebooks about pregnancy and genetic changes. This makes him believe that the hotel workers and guests are involved in something illegal and unethical. Next, the stranger goes to Ginny's room and finds her boyfriend injecting something into her. He confronts the boyfriend, but soon the hotel manager shows up, grabs the stranger, and locks him in his room. Meanwhile, the bartender goes to the maid and forces her to seduce the stranger. At first, she is scared, but she agrees when he threatens to burn her favorite doll. The maid then goes to the stranger's room and starts to undress. However, he realizes she is being forced and decides to escape the hotel with her. The bartender sees them from the control room and alerts the other guests to stop them. The guests, acting like robots, quickly start to chase the stranger and the maid. The hotel manager tries to control the situation, but the bartender overrides the system and locks the manager in the control room. In the struggle, the manager accidentally hits his head and dies. The stranger and the maid almost reach the exit when he suddenly feels a sharp pain in his chest and collapses. He tries to get up and run, but the bartender arrives and knocks him out. The guests capture the maid and start to undress her like mindless zombies. The bartender then unbuckles his belt and approaches the maid. In the final scene, the stranger wakes up and sees the maid's lifeless body on the floor. He starts crying and crawls toward her, trying to drag her to the exit. He also sees the paralyzed woman lying dead. In his sorrow, he sings a song that the maid had once sung, honoring her memory. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.